G'day, this is Captainoob, and this is a QBZ-191. This is a rifle of Chinese design, first deployed in the PLR army around 2019, so it's a grand spanker compared to some of the weapons that I've been reviewing previously. It's a very new thing. Is it lore-friendly? Nope, because in the Fallout universe, they had these weird AKs, according to Fallout 3, so that's kind of weird. This thing has custom sounds and animations, lots of high-quality stuff to go on with it, and a lot of attachments, so I will not hold back further. Let's get started. Also comes with a knife. That's got no customization except for a legendary slot if you want. Interesting. But for the receivers, we just basically got the same as we always do, just a carbon copy of what you'd find on a vanilla weapon. So we'll go for auto powerful. The fire rate looks a little bit higher there at 432, but I'm sure that's just a visual bug. That's okay. We've got a legendary slot here if we need it. We will not use that. Now, you can change the equip animation. You can either pull the bolt or you can pull the stock. Now, depending on which one you want, you can choose. Let's go with the bolt. We'll just leave that as normal. And we've got a chance to change what's on the upper rail here, which will be sort of mounted where the sight is, probably blocking our sights if we do it like that. But yeah, there's a lot of things you can choose from. A couple of American-based stuff, and there's actually canted sights on the side there. That's interesting. Maybe if you wanted to use this thing scoped and have a little sight on the side to use in close quarters, that'd be a good idea, but probably going to leave that off. In fact, I just might chuck a flashlight because it's sort of off to the side here. So that's all good. You can chuck something on the left-hand side rail, so we'll go for something that doesn't clip. So we'll go for a smaller laser sight there. It's a green laser sight. Pretty nice. We can change the stock, and you can actually have wooden furniture on here, which I think is actually kind of cool. Quite like that look for this thing, and it also suits what the AK looks like. I mean, the stock on the Chinese assault rifle was a skeletonized metal one, but it did have a wooden handguard on it, so I feel like that's a good thing. It'll give us a recoil bonus here. In fact, they're all the same by the looks, and it's all recoil compensated already. Even with the standard stock, it had that prefix there, so I'm guessing these are just all sort of, I guess, changed cosmetically. There's not much else in stats that actually go along here. Now, here's where it gets a little bit convoluted. So you get a bunch of extra things here, and there's a lot going on here. It's a little bit messy. There's so much stuff. So this one called barrel in square brackets, handguard ported, plus tactical, long barrel, bayonet muzzles. So if you want a bayonet, you can do that. So, you know, I feel like when you go through these things, less is more. If you're going to give us all of that extra information, you may as well give it here so we can easily scroll things over. But that's just my opinion. It gets a little bit messy. The best barrels, I think, are the longest range ones. So the QBU handguard and the long barrel should be the way to go. So we'll equip that on, and we immediately go into a new attachment slot because it would have added or taken some. I think we got an extra bottom rail out of that. You can turn the laser sight off and have it a beam or a dot if you feel like. That's good. We'll go for the grip now, and you can have yet more wooden furniture on there and some tape around that. Red tape makes sense for the designers of this weapon to use red stuff. And we'll go for a tactical grip there. That one. And where were we? My goodness, there's a lot going on. And we can have a bipod if we want. I think that was the thing that was gained with this barrel. So, yeah, we'll just fold it up. Superior accuracy, I suppose, which doesn't actually change the accuracy stat, but maybe it increases hipfire accuracy if the laser sight already doesn't. And you can open it or close it if you feel like. You can have something on the right of the rail. I don't think we need anything else. We've got plenty of lights and laser sights on here already. And you can change the muzzle. As standard, you've got a flash hider, but you can have a compensator, which will reduce your range, unfortunately, but increase recoil control. Obviously, a suppressor is going to be the best pick here because it's got a lot of extra damage along with that. If you've got Ace Operator, also increases range and accuracy, which is unlike most weapon mods and unlike the vanilla guns, so that's obviously a no-brainer there. And we can use the actual Chinese ammo, standard chambered in the NATO 5.56 rounds, which doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but you can get slightly more damage if you use the 5.8mm Chinese rounds. I'll talk about how to obtain those in a little bit. And we've got the magazine. You can have standard and alternate reload animations, quick eject ones for a faster reload. You can have extended ones, and you can have the mags that from the 95 variants, which are the old bullpup variants of the QBZ. Yeah, they went and decided to make a more conventional style rifle this time. Maybe it's a little bit easier and the ergonomics are easier to use for the PLR, so that's probably why they did it. We'll go for an extended quick eject with the standard animations, and we can chuck a vertical grip on here. Funnily enough, you get this vertical grip pod thing, which I think the Nerf Stampede had one of these things, and they were kind of cool to use. And you can have 2 bipods if you feel like it that way, but let's just go with the vertical grip there. Magpul, I think that's an American company, so this weapon is a little bit cursed. And also, you can have a recon scope enabled or disabled, so you just point at an enemy, it'll have a little diamond above their heads for as long as they live. And we've got a damage modifier here if we feel like it isn't doing quite enough, up to 90% from 20. And we've got a material which we can change the colors of. That's a nice one. I quite like that one, even though it looks like a Nerf gun. The carbon fiber is nice. Forest is nice. I actually quite like all of these camos so far. One of these will ruin it. Ooh, tiger's good. Look at that. That's so good. And alright, unicorn pink. You know, I think Carla would use this thing, but I can't stand to look at it that way, so we won't do that. Let's do tiger, and I think I missed out on the sights here. There we go. So we've got iron sights, glow sights, a couple of reflex sights, baskers, OKP, aim points, that's more American stuff. Sig Sauer, that's German. Hollow Sun, that sounds like something you'd put on a bloody Chinese rifle, right? I don't know. I don't actually know much about the Hollow Sun. Maybe I should look that up in my spare time, obviously. But you can go and chuck on scopes if you feel like using this thing at range, which we're going to be chucking on a couple of scopes. We'll find a use for a scope as we go along here. And that pretty much covers all the customization. A lot to go through, but that's what we're going to be using first. I'll create a couple more and I'll see you in a second. So accessing and crafting the contents of this mod is easy. Just go to chemistry workbench and it'll be like _QBZ, so it would be right up the top if you haven't got anything like with square brackets or anything with any other punctuation. And if you use 6 lead, you get 10 of the 5.8mm rounds. You can craft a little bayonet. It looks like the one from Battlefield, actually, the one from Battlefield 4. I quite like the look of that. It's got the little ring there to put it on your rifle, though. And you'll notice how there's an L version. That's actually a left-handed version of a QBZ. So we'll be crafting one of those just so you can show it off. Worth mentioning that in third person, it'll be on the right side. So, I don't know, maybe quickly shoulder swap it between the transitions of viewpoints. But, yep, we'll craft these and then we'll get on and shoot stuff. Alright, so here we are in Gunner's Plaza on the inside. And there's the equipping animation for the bolt thing, and there's the stock, and you actually see that the stock actually gets pulled out there. That's some good attention to detail. This is the one that I made with the workbench, as you saw before. This one's got a scope. It's a see-through scope, which is nice. We get a lot of that peripheral vision still. That's pretty good. You'll note that the recon scope functionality is working here. And this is the left-handed one. Sorry, I should have put a trigger warning that this might look uncomfortable because it's basically how you never see guns in first person. There's a couple of games that allow you to look at stuff like that. We'll tag everyone here so we can have a nice view on them as we take them down. But for starters, we'll just use the automatic one with a suppressor and we'll see how we go. Yes, that's nice. That'll do super well. Not a lot of recoil to speak of, but I haven't been firing this thing full auto. And we almost got detected there for a second, and we're on. Okay, that's good. We can get to lots of stealthing and sneaking and everything a little bit later. But there's the reload animation. I'm going to try to show the bash damage off. That's what it looks like. Doesn't look like you're hitting them all that hard. Looks like you're sort of pulling your punch, or pulling your gun bash at the end there. And what on earth are you shooting at? What's that? Okay, that's just a vanilla assault rifle. That's okay. What's the other thing? Oh, that's a big gun. Yeah, drop that right now. There we go. So yeah, this is just with I believe it's an 8x scope, so we get plenty of zoom in, but I actually quite like the see-throughness of this scope. The reticule is really tiny, So it feels like you can make all these precision shots really easily, so I quite like that indeed. Very nice. We're going to do a little bit more suppressed sniping here because I think that'll just play to this weapon strength pretty well. That guy comes running around, catches a bullet. It doesn't look like we've got the scoped keywords here because we're not getting any knockdowns, which is, you know, a big sad. This could just be like a glorified reflex sight, right? And it's a double knockdown on those guys because I destroy the turret and that usually gets them. At least when we're sneaking, they're not getting knockdowns where we cannot hit them because they're sitting behind cover. That's scary. Let's go loud and proud. Enter the left-handed one. With a reload animation, you'll also... I noted that the left-handed version doesn't have a magazine option, so you're stuck with this one animation. It's so weird. The charging handle... Where is it ejecting? Is it ejecting... Oh, it is ejecting... Okay, they haven't swapped the charging handle over. I guess it's just for, like, shoulder swapping, even though in third person, like I said before, it's on the other side. How weird. Anyways, we'll keep on shooting them. We'll go through, and we'll switch over to the semi-auto one, just with the unsuppressed, so you can listen to this. Who would have thought that photo frames would make such great cover? There we go, that's much better. When there's no cover for them to hide behind, I can be slightly more effective with this. So we'll get rid of these last ones. I haven't killed this turret yet. That's interesting. Usually I kill this one first because it's right there. And we're done here in Gunner's Plaza. Did a pretty good run. Even the guy with the MG42 didn't hurt us all that much, which is great. Now, I'm pretty sure you can jump onto that thing. Yes, I can. Now, I didn't show you what this thing looks like in third person. You'll note that you'll hold on to the foregrips, which is a nice attention to detail there. Quite like that. And yeah, it's what they look like. They actually look pretty good in third person as well. I think it's not a terrible looking weapon. It certainly looks better than the bullpup ones that the Chinese were using before they decided to make this one. So yeah, pretty good. We'll move on. Also, we look a bit strange standing up here. It's like we've got weird bug eyes. Okay, I had to reboot. Now everything's looking like it should, and yeah, just to give you an idea of what these look like in better lighting conditions. Yeah, pretty cool. Alright, so we'll go through some super mutants here. We'll start from the outside of this as a random encounter zone with robots. They'll go down, yes. And what have we got here? Settlers. Okay, let's save the helpless villagers because that's what we do all the time in Fallout 4. I think the jig is up anyway. That is an Assaultron. May as well use this thing in VATS, right? And so much for left-handed. Well, I'm going for the torso here. That's okay, but we can fight robots a little bit smarter. So we'll go for a critical. There goes its leg. Crippled mobility. And it'll start crawling like the Terminator. That's cool. I've always liked that mechanic where as actual dismemberment tactics that you could use for robots. Ghouls as well. But they're, I guess, animals. Anything that's not humans or super mutants, basically. Anything like that. So these super mutant warlords, they eat the bullets, but this thing is fairly accurate, so we can get the headshots easy, and he's got a flashbang. I wonder if you can flashbang mutants. I have to assume that you can, so I guess we'll try to test it out later, but I think what we should probably do instead of shooting them until they die is we'll execute some criticals. There we go. About 160 damage, concentrated fire kicking in slowly. There's the reload animation. Nice little slap there just to finish it off. Just to get the next round loaded in. I guess there's like a little button that you just slap over. Didn't slap it that time. Maybe that's like a third person thing. I always like that. Anyways, we'll go inside, but we'll do it all sneaky like with the bayonet. You know what? If they've made the effort to make this little bayonet in the game and add it to their mod, I may as well give it the time of day and use it for a little bit. Plus, sneak criticals with melee weapons in this game are nasty when you've got it all specced out. Yeah, 12 times damage. There's not a lot you can that can survive that. So maybe we'll try it on a monster later on, because that is certainly the way to do damage here. But a sneaking melee, that always works out pretty well. Usually there's someone around here, so we'll blitz in. Yep, he goes down. All the old sneaky stabby ways, they're very powerful. But now the jig is up, so we'll just go ahead and teleport next to this guy, get a bit of blitz happening here, and fight this guy with a knife. Now, we should be much faster than he is, so we're probably right to just keep hitting him like that. Probably want to hit this guy in VATS though. I'd love to have some sort of legendary effect on it. Maybe just powerful, just for a little bit more damage, just like I've chucked on a extra blade there. But yeah, there's a big difference between the sneaks and the no sneaks, because this thing doesn't actually do a whole lot of damage. I think if you compare it to the standard combat knife, or even the Disciple's blade, it does so much less damage. Obviously, it's not meant to be a dedicated melee weapon mod, so that's okay. But if you are running a melee mod and using guns every so often, then I guess there's a melee playthrough, then you could potentially get some use out of this mod if you were doing like a no guns thing. But even if you weren't doing a no guns thing, I still think this is a pretty high quality weapon for you to grab, and we're going to shoot this guy in VATS. Can't be bothered aiming anymore. Go for a critical. There we go. Nice finisher there. And you know what? Let's switch over to the one with a scope here. Try to get some cheeky little headshots. That should only be a baby super mutant, right? No, not that one. Trying to gauge the recoil on this thing. They're big targets, but still missing them anyway. I just suck. There we go. So it looks like if I'm not doing sneak attack criticals, they are sponging it up a little bit. But if you compare it to vanilla game stuff, it's round about the same. It's kind of the same damage as we had with an Uzi, but I think I like this weapon mod slightly more. I think it's a little bit better done. And rad roaches, where are you going? Get out of here. Alright, we can squash rad roaches with this gun. If that was a question you wanted to answer, well, there you go. We'll keep on going here. Super Mutant Warlord, close range. He ain't gonna move, staggering him too much. Get a couple of cheeky headshots here. Probably want to hip fire this. And we can stop a mad charging mutant with this thing, just with the sheer volume of fire. Okay, so most of this stuff has been done without the use of sneak criticals, at least the gun stuff. So let's go ahead and have a little bit of fun with the suppressors and sneakiness. Alright, so we'll do this all Spec Ops nighttime sniper. Hopefully Swan doesn't notice the giant laser pointer that I've got. Well, that's off with a bang now, isn't it? And we're going to snipe at him, and oh yes, look at those sneak multipliers. Is he planning on moving? Alright, he's on the move now. A little bit of a delayed start there. He must have been AFK over at his AI thing. I've got no idea why that happened. It happened, and this is why you sneak, because he's dead in less than 2 magazines. Very nice. Okay, wasn't that fun? Let's do it again. I'm going to do it again, but automatic this time. Alright, time to fight a monster that I haven't fought in a long time. It's a giant Sentry Bot, which arms are stuck in a little bit of a T-pose. Also, I noticed how I haven't shown off the flashlights for these things yet. That's what they look like. And that's without the flashlight. So, I think it's actually quite good. It's not too much of a small cone in front of your face, so if you are playing one of those mods that makes the game really dark, then you'll actually have a decent field of vision with a flashlight on this, which is nice. Or a field of view allowed by the amount of just the giant cone of light. It's helpful. That's what I'm trying to get at. And, well, that was fun. Now, the question is, are you going to do that much damage to me? I need to get some sort of... Oh, apparently we can do nothing to this guy. That's interesting. Well, we obviously can, but we're only doing so little. And I think this guy has limited ammo because he's stuck punching me. He also has a giant, like, weird hydrant in the ground. I I don't know what that's all about. That's probably the weapon that he's got, which hasn't been sort of... I don't know. When they gave him the weapon, it would have just been the same one that they use with the behemoths, but for some reason, the way he equips it means he's just got a giant friggin' thing in the ground there. It's, I don't know. What would Freud say about that one? Not sure. So, he's tanky. And apparently we've got to defend Nordhagen Beach. I don't think we'll do that. No hitboxes. We'll hit him with the left-handed one. Also, probably shouldn't go for the head, even though logical they do more damage. But there's more important components in the torso of the robot. So I'm gonna try to go back into sneaking. Might even pop a stealth boy, in fact. But hopefully he'll come into the water here, and then we'll get him. I don't know. We'll just get a little bit of rust on him. Yeah, that'll hurt him real bad. If he slip back into caution here, that would be ideal, because he's got to go all the way back around. Yep, run here. Let's get some guaranteed shots, maybe some criticals sprinkled here. Never mind, back in danger. He's a very perceptive one. Maybe if it was raining, then we'd have a better job or an easier job at killing him. But it looks like the damage in this thing is so standard that it barely cuts it against a monster unless we force the game to give us these multipliers by sneaking and stuff. And now we're on. Even at this far range, all the way back here where VATS can't even detect him, we're getting a lot more damage. That's okay though. Getting slightly better now. We'll try to creep in a little bit closer just to ever so slightly boost our damage, getting less of a penalty for being at range here. Although it's like we're getting slightly better range than we would with a standard muzzle anyway, so it's not like the suppressor's holding me back here. It's the fact that he keeps running off, just being a bullet spongy. So I would definitely regard this weapon to be fair and balanced, and I know a thing or two about balance. I know that all of my mods are unbalanced, but this thing is so standard that it can get away with it. It's fine. Anyway, so he goes down, and then I just remembered why I didn't want to fight this guy all that much, because he's just a big old sponge. But we got the job done. The QBZ-191 doing a good job here. And I think I'm going to call it a video there. So if you are interested in seeing this commie weapon in your game, then check out links in the description. If there's an Xbox port, I will also be providing that as well. Would recommend this one, especially if you are interested in the weapons of the PLR. I don't know. I don't think anyone from China watches my videos, but, you know, it's a cool weapon mod, and it looks cool in your back, too. I like the tiger paint. I reckon that's the best paint there is. It's such a cool camo thing. There's a lot like that in Battlefield 4, actually, but I'm getting off track. Thank you very much for watching, guys. Link to Carla mod in the description as well.